Hi there, and welcome to Northport Living. Whether you're looking for the best spots to explore, helpful home tips, or ways to stay connected with your community, we've got you covered. On this episode, we'll tell you how to recycle right here in Northport. Let's go. I'm joined with Mario Venditti, the planner schedule for the Solid Waste Division of Public Works for the City of Northport. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Cody, for having me.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about your position and what you do with the Solid Waste Division.
So as a planner scheduler, my main function is to educate the residents on how to recycle right. I also do bulk yard waste estimates, bulk garbage estimates, whatever is required.
So you're out in the field dealing with the recycling and solid
I'm right
waste all
out there
day.
every day running the routes.
Absolutely. So I have you today. We're going to talk a little bit about the recycling program here in Northport. Tell me a little bit about how the program works and where does our recycling go once it leaves our bins?
Sure. So the recycling program in Northport is a little different than everywhere else. We actually separate our commingle and our paper and cardboard instead of putting it all in one container. And that benefits the city by saving money. It's already separated. It's cleaner at the end. Our trucks go pick up the containers from all the houses in the residential area, and then it gets brought to a transfer station in Sarasota, and then from there, it gets sorted in a sorting facility and then gets recycled properly.
What are kind of some of the biggest things that you see with the recycling that people should know about, whether it's things that they shouldn't recycle or can't recycle? I know there's certain items that you can and can't recycle.
Yeah, that's correct. The biggest thing that I see that is plastic bags in the recycle, and plastic bags are not recyclable anywhere in the country. Those should go right in the garbage. It's a misconception because the blue lid container does say plastic on it, and it is a plastic bag, but they're just not recyclable. So we're trying to keep those out. What they do is they clog up the sorting machine at the sorting facility, and everything goes on hold. So we're trying to keep those out of there.
And that includes more than just the bags that you get from Publix or Winn-Dixie or
That's
whatever.
correct. It can be mulch bags, sandwich bags, any type of thin
Garbage
plastic.
bags.
Garbage bags, plastic sheeting, stuff like that.
I know that's one of the things that we've talked about is the garbage bags, because when people go to collect their recycling, they might have it in a garbage bag because they don't want those liquids leaking into their bin in their house. Talk a little bit about,
Yeah, that's correct. If you have to keep your recycling in a plastic bag in a home and you're bringing it out to your recycle container, just remember to dump it loose in the container and then throw the bag in the garbage.
One of the other items that gets brought up a lot during recycling is pizza boxes. What is the deal
Yes.
with the pizza boxes?
So the deal with the pizza boxes, is there a liner in there, or it's food contaminated, or the box itself has soaked in some of the oil from the pizza, then that would be considered garbage. If you can take the liner out and the box is still clean, then that would be recycling. That part be broken down and placed in the tan lid container.
So if you see those dark grease spots, those are the ones that cannot be recycled.
That's correct. That should be in the garbage.
When we do have items that can't be in there, whether that's plastic bags or garbage bags or pizza boxes or any of these items that cannot be recycled, what happens? What does that process look like? Because once it's in my bin, it goes off to the city, and what happens kind of after that?
Well, hopefully we catch it before it goes in the truck. Me personally, I do go around and inspect the containers, and if I catch it before the recycle truck gets there, I'll leave a tag on the container, and it'll notify the resident that there was something in there that didn't belong. It also notifies the driver not to collect that container to keep the contamination out of the recycle trucks. Some of it does get by, and then it ends up at the sorting facility, and that's where how they determine our contamination rate.
And how does that contamination rate work?
Well, after a certain percentage of contamination, then the city has to pay more money for it. So it ends up costing the city money is what it is.
Almost like a fine.
That's correct.
Yep. I remember when I first moved to Northport, I moved into a house, and we got tagged because the previous resident left waste, garbage in all three bins. and it was a pain. I got orange tagged. You probably were at my house, the one marking me. So I had to dump out all the garbage. I sorted through it myself, but I know the city offers something that would have completely prevented me from needing to do that.
Yes, and I do appreciate you doing that for us. But if that happens, we do have residents that move in to a home, and the previous owners had filled up their garbage container and both recycle containers with garbage. You can just call the city, explain your situation, and we'll be more than happy to have a garbage truck come by and empty those as a courtesy for you one time. So the situation, you can start over clean.
That is something I wish I would have known because I sorted through some nasty
Yeah.
stuff that have been sitting for about a week or two. So I wish I would have known about that. But one of the other programs that I did utilize, and I'm glad I utilized this one, is when I moved in, I had a ton of cardboard, from moving boxes to furniture boxes. You know, we got a new table in, you know, our TV box, all of those things. I saw on the city website about the bulk pickup, and that if you're moving, you can have a special pickup for all the cardboard. Talk a little bit about what goes on for that.
Yeah, sure. If you move in and you have a lot of cardboard, you can just call the city, let them know you just moved in. And I would recommend waiting until you are pretty much moved in, you have all your cardboard in one spot, and we'll do a courtesy cardboard pickup for you. It's free of charge. We'll come by and they'll have you leave it flattened out at the end of the driveway on your collection day. And we'll come by with a separate truck to collect that for you, no problem.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I had so much cardboard filling up in my garage, and I think I put in the request on the website on Monday or Tuesday. My collection date was Thursday, and I got an email, whatever, the next day or after submitting, like, oh, the next time, you know, you have garbage collection, put it out at the corner. So it was gone within a couple of days. So it was a fantastic program, and I'm glad that I was able to utilize it because we had
Great. I'm glad to hear that.
a lot of boxes. For residents who have a lot of cardboard, for whatever reason they generate a lot of cardboard or whatever, what options do they have if they're kind of at the end of those 2 weeks when their cardboard or their paper recycling is up? They're always full, they're always overflowing, they're having to leave stuff out on the side. What can they do if they have too much cardboard or too much commingle?
Yeah, sure. Well, we will offer an extra cardboard container at any time, extra commingle container, whatever you need. If you have overflow every week, we try to keep it so the lids are closed with the material in there. But if you can't and you need another container, we're happy to deliver one for you. That's there's no charge for that. Well, we can upgrade the size of your container. So if you have, right now we offer a 65-gallon and a 95-gallon. If you only have a 65, you need more room, we'll swap that out for a 95, no charge. If you have a 95 and it's still not big enough, we'll bring you another 95 or a 65. If you need 3, we'll bring you 3. It just, depends. As long as it stays clean, that's not an issue. The recycled containers, we can give you more, upgrade the size at any time.
That's fantastic. So they're free of charge to get the container and free delivery on that as well?
I believe they're free of charge for the first swap out.
Okay.
And then after that, I think there is a charge. I'm not sure what
Okay.
it is.
And this only applies to recycling,
That's
correct?
only recycling. Yes, garbage, if for some reason your garbage is overloaded every week and you do need another container, that you would have to purchase. I believe that's around $120. And then there's a disposal sticker every year that goes on the container, so the drivers know that you paid for that extra container. And I believe that's $68, something like that.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
So kind of the 3 pickups that I see when I use my Recycle Coach app, because for any resident who has run into where they put out the wrong recycling, which I know I've done a time or two,
It happens quite a bit.
I find myself going to my Recycle Coach app, which is really great, super easy to set up. I put in, it asks for like where your location is, so you put in Northport. It asked for my street address, and I didn't even have to give my own home address. I was able to just give my street address, and now I get notifications, so my wife doesn't get mad at me when I forget to put the garbage out, because I get notified beforehand.
Great.
And it also lets me know which one I need to put out, whether it's the blue lid or the brown lid. The other one that I see on there is yard waste. Can you talk a little bit about the yard waste pickup? Because that's one that's probably not as frequent as garbage and recycle.
Yeah, that's correct. So with the yard waste, we do have a separate yard waste truck that comes around to collect yard waste as long as it's prepared. Now, what I mean by prepared is it either has to be in a paper bag, not plastic. It either has to be in a bundle tied with rope, not wire, and it has to be no more than 4 feet long, or it can be in a plastic barrel, like just a personal container you can pick up at Home Depot or something, or the city does offer at a purchase price a city brown yard waste container, and we will collect it as long as it's in that form of prepared. If not, if you have something that's a big pile and you can't cut it down or whatever the case may be, we can give you a bulk pickup, come around with a claw truck, and we can take that as well, and that will go against one of your bulk pickups, which you get. You can have either 1 10 cubic yard pickup per year or 2 5 cubic yard pickups per year. And you can use those for either bulk yard waste or bulk garbage. So whether you have a pile of branches or a couch, whatever have you, we can take care of you.
So we talked about yard waste, we talked about bulk items. What about some of those other things, like when circling back, when I was moving into the house, one of the things that I found in them was paint cans because they were painting the walls before they left. What do I do with like paint cans and things like that?
So if you have any paint cans, if they are full of paint, we do have a household hazardous waste event. We have one coming up March 15th. You can bring it to that. We'll take paint cans, we'll take tires, we take any kind of household chemicals.
Chemicals, right?
Yeah, pool chemicals, medications, all stuff that we don't take during the normal collection week.
And that, for those listening, if you are interested in the Household Hazardous Waste event, that will be held at the Public Works Solid Waste Division area at 1850 West Price Boulevard on Saturday, March 15th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. If you have any questions or if you're wondering what you can or can't bring to that event, if you go to our website, northportfl.gov/HHW, it'll have a list of the things that are accepted at that event. So that's a really great way to discard of things that you might be having.
And we have that event every year for the residents.
I think it's multiple times a year, if I remember correctly. There's one in the spring and one in the fall sometimes. So the one for the spring is coming up. Again, that is on March 15th, Saturday, March 15th at 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. And there will be another one in the fall as well. For those families who have young ones, like myself, I have a 4-year-old at home, and for whatever reason, she's into recycling and saving the earth. I don't know if that came from Blippi or one of these other shows that she watches, but she always, tells us to turn the water off because it's good for the planet and all of those other things. So for those families who have young ones that are interested in recycling or who don't know much about it, what are some things that families can do with kids to kind of get them involved and get them learning about recycling?
I think the biggest thing is try and make it fun for them, make it a game. You could do like a sorting game where you can say which color lid does this piece of paper go in, or where would I throw this water bottle? Does this go in the blue one or the tan lid container? You can show them how to cut up the cardboard and how to dump the stuff out of the plastic bags. Kids would be good with like a sorting game.
Cutting the cardboard is age appropriate, though.
Yes.
Depending on what age your kids are, the cutting the cardboard. But I think that's a great way. I know my daughter loves the sorting games and the matching games and things like that. So
yeah, they can probably break down boxes, stuff like that.
Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you taking time, and I hope that residents can learn a little bit about how recycling works here in Northport. Is there anything else that you want to add about recycling or anything else?
Sure. If it's during the normal collection week and you've missed the household hazardous waste event, if you do have used motor oil or car batteries, you can leave them outside the recycle container. We do collect that during the normal collection week. And I do encourage everyone to download the Recycle Coach app. It's fun. There's quizzes on there about what's recyclable and what's not. It'll give you notifications. It'll tell you what time your container has to be out. It's real easy, simple to set up, and it'll help you a lot. And then if you have any other questions, you can always go on our website, northportfl.gov/solid waste, and everything you need to know is there.
Awesome. Thank you again for joining me.
Thanks you for having me.
You've been listening to Northport Living. We'll be back soon with more tips, events, and inspiration. Until then, get out there and explore all the amazing things our city has to offer. See you next time.